Like little kid backpacks. No money in there. Bunch of stuff over here. Look at this. Just some bag. Toothpaste. Jesus, like, what is this? I did not think I would see that when I came down here. God. I'm in Eagle Pass, Texas, right at the U.S.-Mexico border. Well, technically this is a border, but there really isn't much bordering going on here anymore. Eagle Pass is right here. It's one of 25 places that connect Texas to Mexico. I'm here because, well, there have been about 1 million migrants and illegal immigrants that have come across to the U.S. this year. So I wanted to see what the hell's going on down here. I spent 2 days at the border talking to people and looking around. You probably know our border is not secure, not even close. It's a national crisis. Some would say what's happening right now is an invasion. And it all starts right here, right where I'm standing.
But let's be honest, nobody told him to come on over. You know what I mean? Like, nobody said, hey, come on over, we're gonna take care of you. You know what I mean? If you're doing shit illegally, don't expect to get a fucking red carpet when you walk through. That's what I'm saying about that. It's like, we give them money, we give them food, we give them transportation, and they haven't done anything to earn it.
That guy is pissed. That's Eddie. He's a friend of mine. He runs a gym called Kumo Fitness. It's right on the border. Like, literally. The back of his property is at the top of a hill, which is on the bank of the Rio Grande River. Standing right here, Eddie's been able to watch migrants enter the country. Sometimes they just come right up the hill and climb his fence. Welcome to America. As you can imagine, Eddie's not too happy about that.
These guys, they can fucking walk it over.
Yeah,
literally, man.
They go right over that fence?
They go right over. So at night, they go through here, and then they come out through over there, or they go through and come out through right there. It was just fucking ridiculous, man.
Just chaos.
Fuck chaos, yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Now, Eddie was the first person I talked to when I got here. He was like, hey, let's go down to the bottom of the hill and then walk along the border and see if there's anything going on down there. I'll show you where all the migrants are coming in and the mess that's down there. So Eddie and I walked along the wall for a while. There was a lot of barbed wire, a lot of people in trucks driving around, and a lot of trash. I'll get to the trash part later. Last year, there were 2.5 million migrants that were captured entering the U.S. And that's the only ones that were captured. That's about 7,000 people every day that enter the U.S. illegally from Mexico. And this year, we're on pace for way more than that. There was a 3-week period in September where there were 7,000 a day. Not nationally, right here, right where I'm standing, 7,000 a day. One day they had 9,000. 9,000 probably gonna be new Americans crossed the river right there in one single day last month. What is happening? So that's why I'm here. Now, by the time I got here, that big surge had ended, and it was just back to an above average number of people. We're talking 500 a day. That's still a lot. So here's where I was. I spent 2 days between these two bridges. This one's Bridge 1, and that's Bridge 2. Bridge 1 was open and operating normally. You can walk back and forth and drive back and forth. Bridge 2 is over here. And right under this bridge is where all the migrants were crossing into the country by the thousands every day. You probably saw it on television. And underneath Bridge 2 is where the Border Patrol had a processing center. The migrants cross over, then they're booked underneath Bridge 2 and sent away on a bus. This is where I hung out when I was here. Now, when I first got here, right away, Eddie and I saw some migrants that had just crossed over the river. So we walked over there to get closer. But then I was told by the Border Patrol, whoa, 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 you can't be over here.
Road, you kind of can't see it, but there's a spot up there off the main road. You'll see it. It's all marked off. It says just media only. Okay. You can go past this point. So
what about like over here?
So this is all city property, and it's all off limits. If you're down here recording, we got to call Eagle Pass PD. And they'll ask you to move
Where
on.
am I allowed to record them coming up out of the river? Am I allowed to do that anywhere?
Yeah, so the best we can do is we move the media back to, like, again, right off to see the pavement up there, the road.
Yeah.
That area up there, if you've got a good lens on it, you can probably see some of them coming up. That's the best we can do, and that's mostly just, that's just safety-wise. We've got a lot of guys that are coming down here, and we get buses and vans through here. It's for your safety, and we're just trying to keep everybody up there.
The Border Patrol dude told me there's been too many media around. So he's like, go up there to the media viewing point at the top of the hill. I was like, that sucks. Can't see anything from up there. So I went up there, and I looked over, and I was like, what the hell? They're so worried about me taking pictures, they just let some immigrants cross over undetected. I saw them. They didn't. They walked right past me. What is going on? There's some right there. What the hell? This was all very confusing. Let me tell you, I was just getting started trying to understand all this. So then I walked back down to the border wall. I was like, I'm not going to stand up here all day away from the action. And then the Texas State Troopers came by. And they told me, you can go down there by the processing center. We don't care. The Border Patrol can't tell you that you can't be down there. It's a public walkway. He said over on the top, there's an area that the media can...
I'm not really sure we use that. You just walk around. We just don't want militia here.
Yeah. So, well, because he was like...
Yeah, they start rattling the stuff and start rattling like cage, like, dude, we don't want this shit, dude. Just,
Yeah.
So, you guys can go anywhere, just as long as you don't bother them. If they let you further down, then that's fine.
So, Border Patrol's like, go over there, but you guys were like, I don't care.
As long as you're not in their face, recording.
So I had one agency telling me I had to back away, another one saying I had every right to be there.
There's a weird sense of entitlement that a lot of them now have, that they're just able to come in and they're just ignoring us and we can't do anything. As soon as they manage to get under the wire or over the wire, we have to call Border Patrol for them just to escort them to the processing center wherever they're going.
This is Mark. He's with the Texas National Guard. I called Mark before I left for the trip, and he explained everything to me. So Joe Biden has decided that he wants to allow all the migrants into the country. So he basically told the Border Patrol, go ahead and let them all in and we'll deal with it later. But the governor of Texas hates letting these migrants in. So he sent the Texas State Troopers and the National Guard down here to stop the migrants from entering. But the Border Patrol has precedence. So the state of Texas just has to stand aside and support the Border Patrol, which has been told to let everybody in. The y'all-itics here are very confusing indeed. Both agencies have become pretty ineffective at this point. They've been told to basically just stand there and try to yell at the immigrants. Turn around! Don't drown! Like that works. They're basically just chauffeurs. They process the immigrants at the border and then shuffle them off to drop-off points somewhere else. And all these agencies are pissed about this. They're saying, why am I even here? I'm not even doing my job. A lot of them are quitting. Does anybody have an idea when this is going to end, if it's going to end, or is this just how it's going to be forever?
We have no idea. We really don't have any idea at all.
Under Trump, Title 42 said immigrants couldn't come into the country because of COVID. But COVID's over now, so Biden passed Title 8, which means immigrants can come back in again and try for asylum. So they cross in here, they're booked, and then just released into the wild. Like, hey, check back in for a court date later and we'll try to figure out what to do with you. But that backlog is years long. Do you think these people are going to stick around for that and actually show up for those court dates? A lot of them don't. Says it all right there. Kind of wonder if there's anybody hiding in here. Anybody hiding in here? No? All right. So all this has created a huge surge in migrants coming in from places like Venezuela, Honduras, and other countries. And the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott's like, you're not staying here. But the problem is, there's just so many of them coming in that we can't even process them all. So they're putting them on buses and literally getting them out of the state as fast as they can. And nobody even knows who these people are. Most of them aren't even searched or processed. They could have drugs or weapons, or be terrorists or criminals or cartel members. Nobody knows. But they're just busting them out of here. Anyways, I learned a lot on the first day I was here. And day 2 was even more interesting. So this is what it looks like when you first get to Eagle Pass. Most of this part of Texas is very unforgiving territory. Scrub brush and desert, sorta. No man's land. The only thing you really see out this way are ranches with big fences. And then you turn a corner and you can see the Mexico flag from what seems like 10 miles away. I'd see that flag real up and close on day 2. So let's see if I can come over here and just loke up for a little bit. Got my coffee. I'm gonna go down here and see if I can just scope up along the river and get some action. Texas DPS guys told me that I'd be cool to come down here, but Border Patrol tends to be a little testy. Okay, so on the second day, I got up super early because I heard the migrants move at first light. I wanted to see them crossing over the river, but I also wanted to talk to people. But, damn it, Border Patrol sent me back up to my lame-ass media vantage point again. An area from which I could see things, but not easily. Like I could see people across the river looking like they were about to cross. And I could see what I was later told were cartel people observing things. I could see people being processed that had just crossed over. And finally, I just got impatient. I called the Border Patrol media liaison guy, and I said, hey, what the hell? Why can't I go down to the river and watch this? The Texas State Troopers said I could. Okay, so there's no way that I can get, like, even an escort down there?
Correct.
Okay, what if, like, DPS or I get another agency that would allow me to go down there? Would that work?
You'd have to ask them, sir.
Okay, but I mean, is Border Patrol going to cooperate if I can get DPS to...
If you go to DPS, it's got nothing to do with us.
Okay. Finally, I just decided I'm going to walk around and look at stuff. F this. That's when I did some real digging. I'm going to try walking the length of this. This is the wall that they had to put up because the other wall wasn't working. That's how ghetto America is. We've got shipping containers with barbed wire on top. China, it says China on it. A China shipping container protecting our border. All these migrants coming here are causing some big problems. There's nowhere to put them, so they're being left in the streets on sidewalks by the thousands all over the country. They're inundating our hospitals and our schools and the welfare system, driving down the cost of labor. Now, I was told that as soon as they cross the border, they get hundreds of dollars to use for transportation and food and whatever else. Some of them immediately get checks for $1,000 a month. No wonder they want to come here, right? Now, people have commented on this channel that illegals are getting gift cards and money and phones and plane tickets. The money and the plane tickets and the phone part, I believe. I just don't know how much money they're getting. I wouldn't be surprised by anything, though. Some say the person letting them in is trying to buy their votes. Some say they're trying to turn Texas blue. I don't think anyone's even searched that bag. And it's not their fault. I'm not blaming our border patrol or whatever. They're just being told, just don't even fucking deal with it. Stupid. It didn't used to be this bad. Back in the day, Eddie told me that he'd see maybe 5 people a day cross the Rio Grande by this bridge. Mostly just Mexican families who wanted a better life. They didn't come here looking for a handout. Eddie told me that his parents crossed the river right there at that same spot. But they came the right way, and now they're great citizens. And all the Mexican Americans that live here now legally, they're pissed about all these people coming over trying to get free shit. And back then, you'd cross over and you didn't want to get caught. Now you want to get caught so you can get your paycheck. Word is out, I tell ya. It is one big free-for-all coming in south of our border. So there's a right way and a wrong way to do it.
Look, let me tell you something. My parents are not full-blown U.S. citizens. They're still resident, right? They got their residency the right way and shit like that. If you ask most of the people from anywhere, they're like, what they're doing is wrong. What they're doing is plain wrong. And you're talking about people that are from Mexico, from other places, you know what I mean? They're like, it's just wrong the way they're doing it right now. Now, if they're telling you that, well, shit, man, shouldn't you listen? If the people that have done it legally are telling you, well, that's wrong, shouldn't you listen to them? It's like, who else has that fucking experience? You know what I mean? They do. Not somebody sitting up in a fucking desk thinking that they know what's best for the country. Ask the people that are fucking living it what's best for them, and then decide what's best for the country. Because I don't get to sit behind any fucking desk and not worry about this. I do gotta worry about it. I do gotta make sure, like, hey man, did they clear, is the brush low enough so that we can see if there's people coming through or whatever? Are they gonna mess up the fence today? You know what I mean? Do we gotta patch up something today? You know what I mean? Because I came and they fucking box cutters and they messed up my shit and stuff like that, and I still gotta go out and fucking replace it, man. It's not right. It's not right. If they come in illegally, and then I'm gonna fucking reward you, hey, here's some money, let me take care of your food, let me take care of your healthcare. Oh, did you get injured? Oh, you need to have a baby? Let me go ahead and take care of all that for you. While you're doing all this shit illegally. And me as an American citizen, if I go 5 miles over the speed limit and a cop catches me, I'm fucking citation, sir, you're getting a fucking warning, you're getting a ticket, you're gonna have to pay for that. Wait, you just gave $200-300 to an illegal immigrant that hasn't paid any taxes ever, and you probably, fed him, and you probably take care of his, health care, but I'm going 5 miles over and you're gonna, bust me down for that? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So you reward them to come in illegally, and you allow them to stay in our country, and then you expect them to miraculously think that now they gotta do shit legally? Well, that's not the way it works. I came in illegally. They rewarded me for coming in illegally. I'm gonna stay in here and do shit illegally because they're probably gonna reward me some more. Meaning, I'm gonna ask for food stamps. And they're probably going to get them because they probably don't have a job. So what is America going to do? We're going to take care of you. Well, what about our citizens, man? You know, what about the elderly and shit like that? Well, we don't have any money to take care of you guys, but we got all this money to take care of all the people coming
Cops,
in illegally.
teachers, all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's demeaning. I asked the people, like the guys that I know that work at Customs and Border Patrol, it's demeaning to them. They're like, man, I don't even know why we do this anymore. It's like, it used to be like, we used to be proud because we catch them.
Used to protect the border.
Exactly. They used to be proud of it. Now, like, they got so discouraged because it's like, you just catch them or whatever. It's like, what for, man? They're just gonna release them anyways. Like, there's no pride in their job anymore.
All right, come get them, guys. Thank you, appreciate it. All right, so the Army guys pretty much just told me that same thing. Basically, they're going to get some runners. They said we got some runners, but basically he was like, dude, we can't let you over there. He said that there might be some crossing through down here if I'm lucky or unlucky. So I'm just gonna hang out over here for the day and see what I can get. But once again, like, look, some people just crossed over, left their damn boots with the socks in them. Those are kind of nice boots, actually. And like, there's these bags. Like, what the fuck is in this stuff? There's shampoo. Like, who knows? And they don't even know. Like, nobody's even looked through any of this stuff. There's could be drugs in here. Look. Makeup. Some lady or some guy came over. Oh, money. I got some money. I got some Mexican money. Look at that. I don't know how to read Mexican money. That might be like $1 or something. Keep that. Your clothes are soaking wet. Look at this. This is the pants. Money. More money. More pesos, 5 cents, $5. I'll have to do the currency exchange on that one. Look at me shaking down the migrants, getting all the money out of their pocket. But those pants are soaking wet. Whoever came across, literally, in a wallet. Ooh, with more money. Look at this. There's just money right here. What is this? The latest plan from Joe Biden is to give these migrants a temporary 18-month working visa so that at least they can try to get a job and get off the streets. And a lot of them, they're not going anywhere. They're staying in Texas. And that's changing Texas a lot. Yes, you read that headline right. 95%. Texas gets 11 new Hispanic residents for every 1 white resident. So you can expect the politics here to change quickly. Although Hispanics do vote conservative more than you might think. Here's more Border Patrol. State troopers, what's up? Just doing their job to the best of their ability. Oh, we got something going on. Woo! We got, go get them, boys. Woo! Uh-oh. There's a kid's shoe. Here's another backpack. Jesus. With some pills. Something. Can't open it. Oh, there we go. Let's see what's in it. Oh, drugs. Holy shit. What the fuck? There's drugs in a pill bottle. What is happening here? I hear that the cartel coaches the migrants on where to go and what to do and what to say. They tell them, cut yourself on the razor wire. They'll take you to the hospital and you get free health care right away. Or cross the river over there. No one's looking over there. Or say this, say that. And then they tell them, have kids with them because they won't separate the families. And then they also tell them, say you're from Venezuela because they're not allowed to send people back to Venezuela. I heard stories of Texas state troopers saying, you know what? I'm a Democrat, but after watching all this, I think I'm going to vote Republican now. And then they throw blankets and stuff on top of the barbed wire, and they use that to block the wires and climb over. And there's another backpack up there. And somebody's got their icy cup. I mean, if that ain't America right there. China shipping. Jesus. And a lot of people say China is sending drugs across the border on some of these migrants, fentanyl and all that stuff, to get them in here so they can wipe us out from within. Kill us from the inside with all these drugs coming across the border. If you can't beat them with their military, you go after them where they're weakest. Must be nice, right? To be able to come over here, cross over, and get some free money, some free health care, free bennies, and on your way. Welcome to America. Just all kinds of just backpacks full of, I'm very stupid to be doing this, charging cables, maxi pads, I mean, it just goes on for a mile. All this. Just sitting here right along the river. I don't think anyone's even ever looked in this bag. I think I'm the first person to even look and see what's in there. Joe Biden once said, border walls don't work. I'm not building another foot of that border wall. But then he changed his mind and he's paying for another 20 miles. I guess 20 miles is better than nothing. But the current administration is very sympathetic to getting more migrants into our country. And they don't even call them illegal aliens anymore. No, that's not PC. They're called migrants now. Or even better, my favorite, unregistered voters. And get this. I also heard that Mexicans drive over that bridge every morning and drop their kids off at our schools. No shit. and I'm going to continue to kind of see what I can see down here. But all the agencies that are here, from Texas DPS, Highway Patrol, state troopers, military, just Florida game, fishing game, they're from all over. They're just like, I don't know what's going on. We're just sitting here waiting to be told what to do. They seem kind of like they don't really have much to do anymore. But a couple weeks ago, this place was hot. And when you see all this debris, it's pretty clear that people are coming over here pretty often, and nobody knows where they're going, who they are, and what they have on them. So America should be worried about that. Finally, I was like, I gotta go for a drive. I gotta see where they're taking these migrants on these buses and find out what's going on at the processing centers away from the border. So this is one of the welcoming centers right here along the border, and apparently it's closed. I went to the first migrant welcoming center. It's a place called Mission Hope. This is where they give them things when they first get here. But no one was there. So I looked at my phone, I was like, oh, there's another Mission Hope down the street. And that's where I found the action. All right, so this is the other processing center. Let's see if I can see anything. Hey, what's going on? Is there anybody?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Is there anybody that I could like interview that works here?
Nobody's here, sir.
Oh, like workers and shit?
Yeah, no. Sorry, but you can't record.
Okay. There's like nobody that works for the mission bar. When are they here?
Until Monday.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay. What are they doing here?
Yeah, I don't know, but can you just go back over there?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I can ask right now, but if somebody will come, but...
Yeah. Ask something. Just do a quick little interview.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, this is also called the Mission Hope Center, and it is a scene. Let me tell you. I got there and there were buses pulling in. There were a bunch of migrants being processed and fed and being given money and phones. They wouldn't talk to me. They wouldn't even let me record. But I did anyways. I heard there's Americans coming down here to these migrant stations and charging these people $500 a head to drive them somewhere. Like, hey, I'll take you to Oklahoma City for $500 each. And they're like, hell yeah, we'll take it. Jeez. Another bus. Just packing them in. 2 bus loads have pulled in. Two bus loads have pulled in the last 10 minutes, full of migrants being shipped off into probably your backyard. And they probably don't even know who they are. Welcome to America. And I'm not allowed in there. Private property. If you're a migrant, you're allowed in there. Uh-oh, we're in Mexico now. When I was in Eagle Pass, there really wasn't much to see, but I did some things when I was here. Of course, I had to go into Mexico land. You know me. Before I headed over there, I asked Eddie if it was a bad idea to try to talk to migrants that were about to cross the river. You know, walk over and be like, hey, you guys are about to cross over. Can I talk to you? He was like, don't do that. The cartel's helping those people get across, Nick. If you're trying to record it, they're going to grab you. We'll never see you again. I was like, okay, I like my hands and my feet in my head. Plus, I hadn't set up a negotiator on my behalf for ransom. So when I came over here, I stayed away from the cartel part. Here's the view from Mexico. That's the flag that I could see from practically San Antonio. It looked like they were setting up for a Dia de los Muertos thing or something. This dude, I was real envious of him. I wish I had that outfit. I'd have blended in a lot more, that's for sure. Well, I made it to Mexico. Now I'm gonna get me some tacos in Piedras Negras. No, I wasn't. I walked around for about 20 minutes and I was like, where's the damn tacos? I could smell them across the river. Last time I came into Mexico, there were tacos around every corner. And then the churro cart people told me, they were like, there's tacos down that shady looking road that looked like it was filled with all sorts of potential bad situations. So I avoided it. I can smell the tacos from here. I can't find tacos. I don't feel like looking much more. Boring. On my way back over, I saw some dudes playing on the golf course that I had got to know so well for 2 days. Quattro! Quattro! Eagle Pass itself just looks like a normal place with strip malls and fast food everywhere. It's pretty quiet and really safe, actually. I mean, who wants to mess with the law when there's so much law around? Except everybody speaks Spanish. Like, everybody here speaks Spanish who isn't a government worker. And downtown pretty much looks just like Mexico. Everyone was super nice. Eagle Pass has 28,000 people, and it's 42% white. The poverty rate here is more than 1 in 4. That's more than double the national average. Here's what a typical neighborhood in Eagle Pass looks like, in case you ever wanted to move here for some reason. Home prices are under $200,000. I mean, it's cheap. And that's why there's so many retirees that move down here. It's safe and warm. They can get over to Mexico for cheap pills every now and then. Some Americans love to retire here. I get it. It's not for me. There really isn't a lot to do here that I'd be interested in. They have a casino nearby that I went to, but you've seen those before. And I finally counted all the money I found in migrants' things. $3.77. That's a cup of coffee. That is the amount of money that I found on the border. Look at me padding my stats out here, working the border, investigating, shaking people down. On our second night here, we went to downtown Eagle Pass to a bar called the Fat Lizard. Now, I asked several people about the safety of coming downtown Eagle Pass at night, and they're like, most locals are just quiet drunks, or there's some military types who get into fist fights after midnight. So make sure to get home before that. Boy, was this place neat. A couple of Lone Stars, some of those gambling machines that never pay out, and a pool table. Looks like home. And of course, they played Mexican music the whole time. I mean, with a selection like that, you kind of have to. The best toilet flush I think I've ever seen. Right there. Just pull that handle and turn that hose. Wash all the pee away. Here in Mexico. Not really. Texas has become the doormat for the country. It's what the third world steps on its way into the United States. And every person I talked to here said they don't want to be that anymore. But it doesn't matter what we want. Just last month, 100,000 migrants were released into the U.S., and nobody knows where they are. I don't think the problem is immigration. It's the way they're doing it. There's a right way and a wrong way to come here. We need immigration, just not like this. And here's a twist. Look around. America's turning third world in some of our cities. And a lot of the migrants come here, they wind up leaving. They head back home. They're like, it's no better here than it is where I'm from. Because America has a housing crisis, and a drug crisis, and a crime crisis, and a bunch of other crises. And what's happening at our border is just going to make all of it worse. Just add more poor people to a population that's already growing poorer. But hey, I guess this is better than Nicaragua. All right, so Mark, you're in the Texas National Guard, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you reached out to me, and I went down to the border, and I wanted to ask you what's really going on. And I didn't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on down at the border that you don't know about unless you're down there experiencing it.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
What are some things going on down there that people are frustrated by, first of all?
Well, first off, they're letting everyone in. Now it's a little bit, compared to when we talked before 2 weeks ago, there was a lot more migrants that were rushing to the border to get into the country. Now it's calmed down a bit from 2 weeks ago. I mean, they're still being pushed in, and now they're being processed, thank God, from my knowledge from Border Patrol. But before, there was just so many, to the point where they couldn't handle all of them, and they just started just bringing them in. At the time, our commander, he was saying that Border Patrol was pretty much being a taxi service, and they kind of still are. So between the migrant situation, obviously you kind of see it on the news too, where they come into Texas and then we bus them up to either Chicago, New York City, Los Angeles, those big cities out there, because that's also where they want to go to, because those are the sanctuary cities that are offering them all these, stuff for them. Another thing that people are very discontent about, obviously, is the drugs that's being pushed in. So much fentanyl is getting pushed in, and a lot of these migrants have stuff on them. Fentanyl, that's the big one, mainly, for sure. Fentanyl. Meth is also coming through. And back then, like I told you 2 weeks ago, when they are not being processed because there's so many of them, I'm pretty sure they brought in a whole bunch of drugs with them. And as a National Guardsman, we can't do much. Our job out here is just to deter them. We could attempt to tell them no. You can't cross. We can't physically do anything. That's just part of our orders. Obviously, they don't want to make an incident of it, and it goes viral all over. National Guard member assaulted migrant. That would be bad news. So we're not allowed to do anything. And a lot of us here in the Guard, we're, at least some of the majority of the guys I know, we're not doing anything. We're just here for no reason.
Yeah, and you started to call them illegal immigrants. We're not allowed to call them that anymore, right?
Yeah. So at first we used to call them illegal aliens, IAs. Now they're trying to go to a more political correct term. Now we're trying to go to migrants. Now I'm hearing that they're trying to be called. They're trying to change the name for them now, undocumented voters or something like that. It's crazy.
Undocumented voters. Who came up with that?
I don't know, man. There's I guess the Army change, or the National Guard, they're trying to be a little bit more political correct in a way. So, yeah.
So they're just streaming across. There's too many of them to even get processed. So they're literally just putting them on a bus and getting them away from the border. They haven't searched them. They don't know who they are. And there's tens of thousands of them coming through a month that we have no idea who they are, what they have on them, any of that.
Yep, absolutely. And then with this whole Israel and Hamas situation, we've even got warnings from our higher ups telling us to stay vigilant. But it's kind of hard to stay vigilant when everyone's just being crossed in. No background checks or anything. So it's pretty tough. There's not a lot we can do. There's a lot of not rules of engagement, but just rules that we cannot do here on the border. It's not a lot. There's actually been cases too where about last week we had a National Guardsman. He got pushed into the sea wire. Basically, two migrants kind of assaulted him because they're just trying to get in, and a lot of them are being very aggressive, unfortunately. There's a weird sense of entitlement that a lot of them now have, that they're just able to come in and they're just ignoring us, and we can't do anything. As soon as they manage to get under the wire or over the wire, we have to call Border Patrol for them just to escort them to the processing center, wherever they're going.
Does anybody have an idea when this is going to end, if it's going to end, or is this just how it's going to be forever?
We have no idea. We really don't have any idea at all. We now know, finally, at least my unit, we're being relieved. So I'm going back to a different part of the border in Zapata, which is about hours south of Laredo. But we're being relieved by guys that are getting activated. These guys were, just regular guardsmen that weren't on mission before. Now they're being deployed to the border. A lot of these guys are also, they got businesses, they got a job, got families back home, and now they're coming on kind of discontent because they have to get on, and as part of the National Guard, when you get deployed, duty calls. So it's hopefully, I don't know, I guess we'll see in the next presidential race for sure.
Yeah, I bet there's a lot of guardsmen and Border Patrol that used to vote Democrat that are not going to vote Democrat anymore after seeing this firsthand.
Well, like I told you before on our last phone call, it's kind of funny. We had two guardsmen from big cities. I think one of them's Houston and one of them's Austin. And they were just talking to each other, both people of color. And they're just like, being here as long as we have makes me want to vote Republican now. Being here too long. So, yeah, for sure. I know for sure a lot of Border Patrol has also been quitting their jobs. I knew one firsthand. He quit 2 weeks ago because he was tired of this nonsense going on. Just like me, he feels like he wasn't doing anything. In a way, they're just yes men waiting for a paycheck.
Yeah, it's not even a border anymore.
No, it's not. It's just wide open.
Yeah, why do they have these surges? Well, all of a sudden it'll be like, a couple hundred people a day, whatever, and then all of a sudden you get like 5,000 in a day for like 3 weeks. Why do they surge?
So a lot of the guardsmen that I know that speak Spanish, they say they try to talk, they talk to them and communicate them and ask them, where's this coming from? A lot of them say there's an organization that comes over, to some part, wherever they're from, majority of Venezuela. We don't know these organizations, but they tell them that the border is open and, they can have a better life here in America. Of course, they tell them everything's free between housing, better life, everything. But yeah, we don't know the organization that's telling them, but that's what they're telling us, that people would come in and tell us, if you go to the border now, they'll let you in. They'll give you free everything that you need and have a better life than you have here in Venezuela or Nicaragua, Honduras, those countries.
So who's going down there and telling them, go up and get free shit?
We're not sure, man. We're not sure. At least on my level, I don't know. Because that's what we're getting on, just translating from them or talking to the migrants, that they're organizations are going and they don't know, and they just go up. What's crazy to me is the amount of families that are coming up, just walking up. You have children, even children that's by themselves. That's the crazy part to me is you have a 5-year-old child and the group is just taking care of the group caravan that they're going with is just taking care of them. I know for sure one of the worst parts is going through Mexico, and a lot of underage children, women and girls and boys. Some of them are being sexually human trafficked for the cartel. That's also a bad thing too. Terrible thing.
Is there a marked pathway? How do they even know where to go? Is there like a...
Yeah, we're not sure of what the path they're taking, to be honest.
They just head north.
Yeah, they're just heading north. And then by the time they get to the gate, the wire, even the gate too, on the point of entries, they're hungry, they want water. A lot of them are malnourished. So it's pretty bad.
And is there any idea on how many of them get sent back?
For sure, the ones that, at least on our end that we see, the ones that get sent back are the ones that are really aggressive, the ones that we actually have to put hands on. Because there are some that are just hyped up on whatever drugs they're on, and they want to put hands on us, and sometimes we have to show, use of force. That's the ones that Border Patrol will come in and they'll detain them and then they'll deport them. That's the only ones really that I know of.
Yeah, I keep hearing it's a political thing. They're trying to turn Texas blue. They're trying to turn America blue, bring all these immigrants over, and we'll repopulate America with future Democrat voters.
I mean, that sounds like the playbook to me. It makes sense. Let them all into Texas, and they probably weren't, taking into account that Texas is just going to bust them up all to the other sanctuary liberal cities. But pretty sure that they want to just flood them into Texas, and who knows? It definitely does sound like the playbook for real. But I think 2 weeks ago for sure. I don't know the exact numbers right now, but we had over 330,000 that came in just El Paso itself. So,
well, thank you for all the work you guys do, for trying your best, even though you're being handcuffed, in doing your job like you should be doing. We all appreciate the fact that you guys are down there and putting yourself on the line and trying to keep this country as safe as you can. And it's too bad that you're not being allowed to do your job right.
Yeah, we're not, but there's, we know for sure that there's a lot of support on our end, like coming from you. We had Tennessee National Guard also come down, so the state of Tennessee is also like, what the hell's going on? Let's go help them out in Texas, Florida as well. So there's definitely a lot of people trying to support us here, but yeah, it's kind of weird because when you see the news, you don't really see the coverage as much now because Israel and Hamas situations being blown out of control, and they don't want to show what's going on in the border. But for sure, I know every time we drive across a small town, just commuting somewhere to different part of the border, different part of Texas, we always have the support of the people. Small towns, the big towns too, big cities too, but mainly, we hear from the Texans that, they're happy that we're there and we're trying.
I'm glad you're there, and I think almost everybody in the country is glad you guys are there doing your job. There's a small select people that want to keep it the way it is, but most of America has your back and wants this to work. So thank you for doing your best.
Don't get me wrong, I don't mind being here. Of course, a lot of people have things to do back home, but when you see the amount of drugs that's being pushed in, the amount of sexual human trafficking that's going through, I don't mind being here. It gives me a sense of purpose for sure. Like I told you, driving across Texas, not even just Texas, but any part of America, even the small towns is rampant with just, drugs, and it's ridiculous. And that needs to change. It's too much right now. There's definitely a drug epidemic going on. So yeah, hopefully we can stop it, man. Hopefully.
Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. And I can also help you find your new house too. Email me and I'll work with you on not just helping you figure out where to move, but I can help you find your perfect home too. That's right. I know awesome, reliable agents all over the country, and I'd love to connect you to somebody who can help you search for that perfect home. Hey guys, if you learned something new about America or what it's like to live in America, great. You should think about subscribing and turning on your notifications. You can also click one of these videos or playlists for more.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.